Hello and a very beautiful evening to you. This is the first time you are hearing us on Love at Home on Hope TV. We say Happy New Year and we are glad that by God's grace you are all alive and we are seeing 2025. Yes, thank you so much for all those who supported us 2024 in our various programs, in our topics, those who learned few things and are trying to help prepare their families and prepare their relationship. We say Ayiko, and so that our families will be better. And so on this note, I say Happy New Year. And today we have a very wonderful topic which we are going to be discussing. The topic, does love really have borders? This is what we are going to be discussing. And I'm sure you are asking, what is this, Auntie Efia? Yes. You know, sometimes we say love doesn't have borders. From intercultural ways, or even intercultural, or interfaith, or what have you. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, I will introduce you my guests for the day, and we shall delve more into the discussion. I am Efia Sewa-Mansa. Please stay tuned, and remember to call in your friends that yes, it is time has so. Let's join us on Love at Home. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Valley View University, where academic excellence meets purpose. Admission is now opened. At Valley View University, we do more than educate. We shape character, nurture innovation, and empower you to thrive in the 21st century. Our holistic approach integrates academic rigor, ethical values, and cutting-edge skills to prepare you for success in the competitive world. Here in Valley View University, you will find a global community that celebrates diversity and fosters multicultural values. With a faculty committed to excellence and a focus on community projects, Valley View University equips you with the tools to make a difference. We offer programs in business administration, nursing and midwifery, computer science and IT, theology, education, agriculture, which are more tailored to your needs. Our undergraduate and graduate programs are offered on weekends, weekdays, and a distance course to satisfy your mode of choice. Our campuses are located at Oibi in Accra, Kumasi in the Ashanti region, and Techiman in the Bono East region. Don't wait. By today, admissions are opened. You can apply now at www.vvu.edu.gh, or you can call us on 030-700-1567 or 030-7011-832. Valley View University, where academic excellence meets purpose.
Hello, thank you so much, and we are glad that you are joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on our WhatsApp lines 0559-680066. You can send in your questions and contributions, and we will gladly take them. As I said, today we are looking at love without borders. Love without borders. And on this show, we want to look at how these love without borders are benefiting people. Are there some challenges? If there are, how can we go about them and reduce or mitigate these actions so that it can help us to have a fruitful and good relationship? On my far left, I have a very beautiful woman. She's refusing to grow. Yes. A very beautiful woman, Mrs. Perfect Odro. She's a counselor. Mami, counselor. Afishiapa.
I think I'm better.
You look good.
You also look wow. Happy birthday, belated birthday.
Oh, thank
God
you.
Bless
Amen.
You. God
Amen.
Increase you and all the desire of your heart.
Amen.
God should give it to you 100-fold.
Amen. Amen.
We love you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And to all February borns who are receiving or who are yet to get, happy birthday to you too. Thank you so much. I hope your day was good.
Yeah, God's grace.
Yeah, thank
it's
God.
Good.
And a very nice man. He's old, but he's so young. Elder Ando, good evening.
Good evening.
I hope you are feeling better.
By God's grace as
To
well.
God be the glory. We thank God. What about your family?
My family is doing well.
We thank God.
They are fine.
All
By
right.
God's grace.
We thank God. And to you out there, good evening, and you say, welcome to today's show on Love at Home, which we are discussing love without borders. So let me start with you, Councillor Perfect. We are talking about love without borders. What exactly is love? We want to understand what love is. Then we will understand what you're talking about.
Love, if you ask me what is love, love is one big word that's defining it is difficult because how I see love and how you see love might be different. So let's take the Bible's definition of love. That
Okay.
is the Corinthians 13. Love is long-suffering, love is patient, love is kind, love is forgiving, it does not envy, it does not keep records of wrong. So anything positive is love. And I always say this, if you love someone, you look for their interests,
Okay.
not your interest. So if I love you, your interest is paramount to mine. When I do something for you, I don't even feel it. I'm glad I'm serving you. I'm glad I'm being of help to you. Your happiness is my happiness. That is love, and it's a deep emotional feeling that we all strive to get it. And I say that in this world, the most ecstasy, the most fulfilling emotion is to love someone and you, the person, also loving you back.
In return.
But if it's one-sided, you realize that it's draining. And we have the love for parents, love for our children and the others, but mostly we are talking about that one that exists between a man and a woman. Yeah.
You see, when I mentioned what is love, I could see your face had changed. You were full of smile. You love love.
I love love.
That's it. Thank you. And that is why you are watching Love at
Yeah.
Home. Thank you so much. Now, Elder, let's look at this. Does love really have boundaries? If we are supposed to love based on what Councillor said, why should we have boundaries in love? Or
Well,
does it have? No, the question is, does it have?
In a broad sense, you see, when she started talking about what love is, she said love is so broad. The definition could depend on the context, and so if you take a very wide context for definition of love, there may be some boundaries. And we are Christians, and we are talking about love in a Christian sense. So there may be boundaries that I don't need to talk about. So she made a very important point that the emotional affection here is that between a man and a woman, and that is important, fundamental. That's a big barrier.
Okay.
Okay, that's a big border.
All right.
Within the Christian context.
Yeah. Being a man and a woman itself is a border.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It cannot be love between a human being and an animal or whatever. So put it within context.
Okay.
But if we put it in the Christian context between a man and a woman, there shouldn't really be any borders. Anybody who is part of the Christian family or the part of the society is lovable, and there shouldn't really be any borders created by anything of a human being's imagination.
Well, okay, as we go on, I'm sure we will gather more. Now, I want us to look at what about cultural? Because we have cultural biases or cultural territories. Do they really affect love? The choice, for example, the choice of picking a loved one, or the choice of deciding to say that this is the person I want to be with, and so I want to go ahead and do the necessary rights to have that person.
I would say formally there was a lot of borders, because education wasn't that wide, it was just limited to a few. But now that education is widespread, we all understand certain things, and with technology, it's like you are in abroad, it's easy to communicate and all that. Most barriers have been taken away. So when it comes to culture is not now a big boundary, you can navigate around it. So it depends on the two. I said earlier that it's you seeking the happiness of the other. So if I'm from a different culture, you're also from a different culture, and you love me, thank you, then we learn to compromise. If you want to try this border, interracial, intercultural thing, the first word that should come to your mind is love and compromise. Okay. If you're not willing to compromise, you can't be in that type of relationship, because what you have been socialized with is different from the person, far different from the person. So you marry somebody who is a Ghanaian, somebody who is an Akan. The socialization is similar. So it's easy for you to understand certain things and navigate around certain issues. But somebody who is from a different background, you realize that the challenges will arise, and marriage itself is having some risk. I always say it's a perfect institution which harbors imperfect people. And we mostly make the marriage becomes as if the institution is having problem. The institution doesn't have problem, but with the imperfectness that we are in cause a lot of problem. Because we have imperfect nature, we have a lot of challenges in marriage. So if you realize that you are the type that can't manage certain things, it's better not to try it.
Okay, so the key word here is compromise.
Yes.
If you are not willing to compromise, then you should not venture into this. Now, let's come into interfaith. How does it work?
Interfaith marriages could work, but as much as possible to make things easy and to make the marriage stable, as much as possible, I would like to advise people who are yet to marry to consider marrying somebody they share faith with. It makes life easier for the marriage. If you're already married to somebody who doesn't share your faith, I'm not saying cut the relationship, stop it. There are ways of managing it and getting it to work the way that will please the Lord and will bring you peace. But if you are now considering to go in there, I would say that life will be easier if you consider somebody who is of your faith, because there are issues that will come along. There are ways of navigating those challenges, especially if you learn, you are prepared to compromise, and you are prepared to face whatever you are going in for. It is possible for you to do this. So yes, there could be interfaith challenges to marriage. But if you're already in there, I'm sure there are some issues that could help you to manage. And I'm sure as the discussion goes on,
all this will be. You want to add something to it before we continue?
Yeah, you see, marriage itself has issues. So you having different faith with the person comes with the challenge. And we know that we Seventh-day Adventists, our beliefs are not the same as others. So if you are Sunday, you are other denomination, it could be much easier for you. But ours is not like them. So Friday, you want to keep your Sabbath, so you are doing all the preparation. Then Saturday, you don't want to buy anything. You want to bath the kids and hurry to church. And he comes in, cook this for me. I'm going to a funeral. You need to escort me. Your mother-in-law is dead. You need to be there. And you said you can't be there. You have a female daughter, a girl. He wants to pierce. You don't want to pierce. The challenges, you want to go to camp meeting, you want to be in church before till Vesper service, and he's calling you to come back home. So the challenges are there. So unless you get somebody who understands you and is ready to compromise with you, and you need to have this talk during your premarital counseling. You don't neglect it and get married and thinking they will come.
All in the name of love. So love alone doesn't go like that.
Marriage is not love alone. Marriage is not love alone. There are other things that are very important. So the faith is quite important. You see, it is the bedrock. That is who you are. When you take the faith away, you become empty. So something that is your grounding, is your foundation. You just don't throw it away. We have some people who, they are not Adventists, but when you get married to them, they become Adventists. So you need to see the light in them. You need to see that because they love you, they want to compromise to be with you. That is there. But somebody who has shown clear signs that they are not willing to, but because of love, you want to just go in, you might go in and rather lose being a 7-day Adventist, or you want to still
lose
be a
your faith.
lose your faith.
Use the
yes,
faith. Yeah.
lose the faith, or you still become 7-day Adventist, but you be like backsliding. You always have this prayer point, God help me, God help me. But you could have solved it. So it's best that the Bible says you should not bear equal yoke with unbelievers. If you want to bear equal yoke with, know the kind of person. Some people, it's a no-no. You need not to go
So
in.
you're talking about understanding and compromising.
Yes.
You used to was here.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's look at does societal pressure play in interracial or interfaith? I mean, how does it play? Societal pressures.
Yes, especially when you talk about interracial relationships, there are societal pressures that come along. So interracial means that different races have different cultures, and there are expectations based on the culture of the expectation on gender roles, who does what, and it becomes a big deal, especially in a typical black community. There are gender roles, and people want to see that the man is doing what a man does and the woman does what a woman does. The way they dress, the way they attend to things, the way they do their celebrations. How long does it take for a black married couple to get a baby? And then how do the Westerners, how long do they have to wait? Some they don't care. Once they are married, I mean, if they want to have children, it's no big deal. Nobody sweats over whether a couple wants to get a baby or not.
Using the word sweat.
Here, it is a big deal. If you don't get it first year, second year, everybody is gossiping. So you come to church, they are gossiping. They see her in the community, they are gossiping. Somebody will tell you in your face, you, when are you going to give birth? Your mother is like, when do I get my grandchildren? You see, these are expectations of the society, and so when the races cross, then you may see a typical Western woman married to a black man, and probably this young man has lived in the West, so he is cool with whatever is going on. But if they come home, the mother will be making the society, people will be talking about things. They probably come home in the evening like they do in the West. They want to go to the restaurant to eat dinner. Hey, have you seen his wife doesn't cook? They go and eat in the restaurant. They are wasting all their money in the restaurant. So society's expectations are a big deal when it comes to interracial marriage. But as was said, the main thing is to be aware and to prepare. You have to know what is ahead of you and prepare. You know, if you are traveling and you study your journey, your path, your road, and you know that there are marshes, there's a river, there's a forest, there's a mountain. It doesn't take the mountain away, but it helps you to psych yourself up to know that in 10 kilometers there's a mountain and I have to climb it. But if you just set off and then you get there and you have to do this, you say, hey, then you shake up. So if you decide to do it, you just have to know the challenges that are ahead and psych yourself up.
So the challenges may be the road maps, the signs that we will see. Maybe there's a hilly here, there's a bumper here, slow down here, there's a curve here, child is crossing and all that. Thank you so much for that analogy. Now, you want to add something to it?
No,
it's okay. All right, so now we want to look at what are some of the, how can we navigate? Now let's come home. How can we navigate the differences in values, traditions, communication styles? How can we navigate these things?
First, if you want to marry from a different culture, a different race, you need to investigate before you even go proposing. If you're a man, you're a lady, investigate. Get to know their culture and get to know the type of family you are getting yourself into. Because we have some people who are not so concerned about traditions. They are more, for better word, they are more modern. They are not much in tune with tradition. Let's do this, let's do that. But I have some people who are very in tune with tradition. Even wedding, they want to put a broom down for you to jump. The mother-in-law needs to do this to come and do this for you. The father-in-law needs to do this. Some people are modern. You can do whatever you like. It's okay with us. So get to know the culture, get to know the type of family you are getting yourself into, and get to know the partner that you are getting married to. Is it a kind who is so attached to his or her family that she might be micromanaged by the family? Now do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that, tell your husband to do this, tell your wife to do this. Is it a mommy's boy I'm getting married to? Is it a daddy's girl I'm getting married to? Before you even go to propose. So you need to know the culture, like when the wedding and everything, marriage, the list and the rest. Even in Ghana here, you realize that some marriage lists are different. When you come to the Volta region, we don't charge a lot of things, but we collect umbrella, sewing machine, GTP, bees, and the rest. And people from different culture maybe might not collect that much. We have people even ask for cow and the rest. So know the family you are getting into, and know that if I'm going to marry a lady from here, it's a respect that I need to do certain things. I just can't go and say I will not buy the sewing machine because she's not a seamstress. I'll not do this, I'll not do that,
Or my culture doesn't.
You are going to a different culture. So you need to do those things so that you can get that peace. And during the wedding preparation, there are certain things they might be asking you to do. Because from our place, you can't come and do just one traditional marriage. You need to do the knocking, the knocking. Before you come, when you do the knocking and they have accepted you, before you can bring your people to do the traditional marriage proper. And the family needs to be there to see. If the family are not there, they don't consider it as marriage. Because we inherit from the father side. So the father and the uncles need to be there. If the mother collect the things, you are not married because the mother can't accept this. So you must know, so that when you go and the mother is the one collecting, you must know that, no, what I'm doing, in case of anything, the father side will tell me that our daughter is not married to you. So true. Get to know this. When it comes to childbirth, are you going to name the children? How are you going to name them? We have cultures that want name children after their people in their families. Yes. And we have people who don't. Ours don't. So my example, my husband named our children after, because he is an Akan. We don't normally do this. But if I don't understand him, I'll be like, why are you naming my children after the people in your family? Your father, your mother, your uncles, people I've not even met before. But I realize that this is where he's coming from. And naming a daughter after your mother, it's a big deal for them. Honor. It's an honor for them. And naming your first child after your father who has been able to take off it is an honor. So understand. But somebody who thinks that ours, we don't do that, we think the child should just have his own way, his own destiny, it will bring a lot of confusion. And the issue of death, because when you are getting married to somebody, know that death also is part of life. And culture plays a big deal. When a husband dies, when a wife dies, the wife doesn't belong to you again. It belongs to the family. So if you don't know the culture of the family, you get married to a fancy, you don't perform the bride things and the rest, you'll be in trouble. You need to marry the person because they have cultures that they need to perform.
Even the dead state.
The dead state. So you need to know. So if you are courting a fancy and you are having child with her and you are not married to her and you are doing that, know that this is the culture. This is what I'm getting myself into. So I need to do the needful. When the person died, what are the roles I'm supposed to play? So you need to know all this before you get in. So that when your mother-in-law comes and they start speaking their language, you don't feel as if they are selling you. When your wife is trying to let the child learn her language, or the man is trying to let the child learn the language, you don't find issue with it. And you need to come to a common ground. You are from this place and from this place. What language can we use so that both of us will understand? If my parents come, what language should they use so that I don't feel like I'm an outsider in my home? These are some of the things you need to consider and talk with your partner before you jump into such marriages. Now,
Counselor, you said a lot, but I want to stress more on the issue of communication in intercultural family setting. And it is really bringing lots of problems. And I wish, Elder, you address this issue. For just as she ended, that you need to address it, you need to discuss it. What language, how do we communicate in the house? How else can we go about this issue?
Okay. There are a few dimensions to the communication in this intercultural marriage. The first point I want to make is that we are going to use communication as a tool to get to understand each other, to get each other to explain what happens on each side, and to explain what to expect when we go home, how people will behave, questions people would ask, things people would say, and how to react to them, what they mean and what they don't mean. So communication itself becomes a tool for us to navigate that challenge, that we will have open questions, we will ask questions, we will seek to understand what is going on and how to react to the things that are going on. So that is the tool. Now you come back to how do we do the communication. She says she's married to an Akan. She speaks Akan. It's great if the husband learns to speak. So when we go to your people, it will be great for them to hear that I'm speaking your language, and when they visit, it will be great to hear that it is a great deal. It shows some mutual respect. It encourages the trust between the parties, and it helps them. It also helps, you know, I have a friend, he's overseas, and he has a sister. The sister is married to an Italian. They both live in London. And they lost an uncle and they came down. And I went to pick them from the airport. He came first. Then I went back to pick his sister and her husband. Then this guy got angry and said, everything you say, this man say, como, everything you say, he's asking the wife, what did he say? What did he say? He wants to hear everything that I am saying. You know, he's beginning to feel suspicious. He thinks you are talking about him. But if we understand each other, once you decide to get married, what else is there you are worried about? If we decide to learn each other's language, we understand what is going on, things are, and even if the person doesn't, you make the effort to try to explain what is going on. So in the intercultural marriage, communication becomes a big tool to get to the parties, to prepare, to navigate the challenges, to help themselves to communicate, to be able to get along and do a lot of things that it's such
Elder,
a big
I
deal.
am stressing the communication because you hear couples who are marrying different cultures. One will say, I don't like your language. Your language is not even nice. What are they saying? What is this? Trying to undermine the other party's language as if his or hers is far better than that. And it is always creating problems and confusions, you know. And the moment one party feels that you do not respect my language, you do not like me, you don't like my language, but you like only me, then there's a problem. So how do we address that, Councillor Perfect? You go to the next question, but I want you to address this.
You see, your partner becomes defensive. And if your partner becomes defensive, it's not best. It means they are putting a shield. They are always ready to pick a fight with you when it comes to that area. So it's best you take that misconception and stereotype away. If you love somebody, you must love everything that concerns them. Because they might be okay with you saying all those things, but have who blow things out of proportion. The mother comes around, or the sister, your sister-in-law mother-in-law comes around, or your sister-in-law comes around, and you make a funny comment about their tribe. That is the end of the marriage.
Yes.
She will ill-advise your wife on anything because of just one comment that you said. So if you are married from a tribe, as Elder said, it's best you need to learn their language. If you can't be fluent, at least the good morning and the small thing, and when you see them, try to use it. And they'll feel much appreciated. It's like you being a Ghanaian and meeting a white man speaking Akan, our local, you are so happy. You even dish them when they are buying things. We even reduce the prices for them. Yes. You are so happy that, you understand. So that is if somebody accepts who you are. So please, if you are doing that, it's not the best. Your wife is putting up a defense mechanism. She's trying to attack back. She's trying to block you. And before you realize, it's going to affect the other aspects of love. Because you don't love me. You don't love my language. So it's just, what are you in for? You don't love the total of me. So she will start putting barriers down. Before you realize, that is why I have this an uncle who was married to a different tribe, and their child was playing with the boys outside, and one said, "You are an Ewe." They said, "No, no, no, I'm not an Ewe." Mentioned the tribe of the mom.
The mom.
And this uncle, the people have been telling him to marry from our hometown. He says no, he can't do that. He's a Christian. But hearing that, he was calling my dad to tell, hey, the thing they have been telling him is true, or he needs to listen to his people. Just this small thing, I was like, and my dad said, no, 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 don't base on this thing.
Yes,
you understand?
yes,
So these small things can lead to bigger things in their marriage.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. Elder, please, let's look at the issue of education and learning. How does it bridge these challenges that we are talking about?
It is a big tool in bridging, navigating the challenges that we find, educating, learning. It is the big tool in doing that. I already talked about learning to understand what to expect, embracing yourself up for it. That is one of the big ways to build whatever for challenges that you face ahead. Learning to understand how things happen or how people do their things. What kind of foods do they cook? How do they cook their foods? How do they name their babies? How do they do their ceremonies? How do they, if there's a marriage ceremony, how would they go about it? Sometimes the problem starts right from there. At what we call the engagement. I have another in my church who said it's not engagement, so I should stop using
proper marriage.
So when you have the traditional marriage, there are things that happen right there that begins to build wedges between. But you need to learn that at the marriage, this is what they will do. Somebody mentioned that people still jump over brooms. What does it mean? Is it such a big deal? Is there some witch in the broom so that when you jump it, there is what?
It fortifies you.
Get to understand what these things mean. If they want to name babies, they want to use water and wine. What does it mean? And what does it mean not to stop them from doing it? You know, if that learning and education becomes a very big deal, that is the way to get to understand, to get to know what to expect, to know the meaning of the things that go on, to know what goes on in each other's homes and wherever they came from, what they mean, how to react to them when somebody says something, what to say in response to it, and if people are offended, how to notice, how to know what offends people so you don't go there, and so much. So learning and educating are very big tools for navigating the challenges that we are talking about. And if you don't do so, you fail to do so at your own risk, because without that, it's going to be extremely difficult for you. I mean, apart from once you learn it, you must have the willingness to practice them, the compromise that she talked about, and the trust, the openness that comes with it. But certainly learning to know, to understand what to expect, to know what happens, how to respond, to know what things mean and what they don't mean, to know what to get puffed out about and what to just forget about. These are very important things. And we need to read.
Yes.
We need to have a discussion. Ask hard questions. Yes. And husband and wives, if you are from different cultural backgrounds, you need to ask hard. And when wife or husband ask hard questions, please don't get offended.
That is true.
Listen to understand what they are asking and answer them. Because one day it will become what will prevent that big thing, or what will put the two of you together. It is important that you sit down and have a good conversation about the issues and get clear answers and get to understand. Read as much as you can. Talk to people. Talk to people from your husband's background. Find out what happens. What is the reason behind this? What is this? What does it mean? So the learning and education is a big one. It's a big tool. We can't underrate it. If you are in an intercultural marriage and you don't want to learn, you don't want to get educated, you are just psyching yourself up for big trouble.
Wow. Now, Councillor Perfect, there was this scenario that somebody shared with me. He said the in-laws came visiting, and then the lady, who is from a different tribe, said, "Hi, mommy," just with the hand in the air like that. Then the mother-in-law got offended that he should have knelt down. "Mama, Akwaba, how was your journey? How was that? How was that?" And because of that, the mother-in-law said, "This girl is not properly trained." And the lady said, "No, you can't tell me that. My parents trained me. You can't tell me that I'm not properly trained." So learning alone, I'm only adding to what Elder said, that it is not enough to say you are just learning and not practicing it. You learn to know how even to welcome and receive your people. What is it, water that we use to welcome them? Must you, for lack of better word, kneel down or to stand at back and do what? So I want you to emphasize more on this area, because sometimes the first goal, just welcoming, creates a problem for people.
You see, if you want to get into this type of marriage, you must, as Elder said, you must learn. You must open up yourself. You must be welcoming enough. If you have anger issues, you need to deal with that. Because there's going to be a lot of times that they are going to test your patience. And it's not them.
It's not intentional.
It's not intentional.
That is it.
This is what they have been trained. This is what they know. Your partner might understand you because of the exposure and the love he's having for you. But they love their son, so they want to accept you. But you must make it easy for them to accept you. So learn. Your mother-in-law comes and you know they are from the tribe that you need to greet and all that. You can't prostrate on the floor. But at least go down and greet. Give her that honor. If you need to be in the kitchen with her, if you need to ask her what to eat and all that, give her that honor. At least it's for a short period of time. And one thing is, if you love your husband, you will love your the people, the family also. And as a wife, if you want your husband to love you, you must learn to love the mother-in-law more. Love the mother-in-law and try to win the mother-in-law over. You realize that the husband will love you more. So learn those things. It's not just for the wives, but for the husbands too. Learn those things, how to engage your father-in-law, the culture they are from, if you need to prostrate, if you need to engage them, the things that you have to say. Because I know that some cultures you can't wear a cap in greeting the elderly person. Because of modernization and the rest, people still do that. People just wear cap, but it's a no-no. So if we're talking from somebody who is also from the royal background, you must know how to address them, because they are not common people. Learn those things. Education is key. And I like to say that for education, it has helped to minimize a lot of challenges because of the exposures that we have. Because when you get to the secondary school, you get to university, you get to certain places, it's not just your tribe. You get to meet other people, you get to meet the Chinese, you get, when you went to the university, you met other even nationals, the whites and the rest. So if you are in the same floor with the whites and you see that she can speak just English and she doesn't care about what you care about, they are time conscious, you also learn that, oh, I need not to do this, I need to do that. We learn from each other. But people who are not that much exposed, they tend to hold on to a lot of culture, practices, and the rest. So know the kind. Your wife might be exposed, your husband might be exposed, but the family he's coming from will not. So learn to compromise. At least, as I said earlier, they will not be there for a long period of time. So why don't you show that courtesy to them, to win them over, than to just be so hard-hearted that I'm not going to do it. And if there's any challenge, it's best you work it through your partner to them than you confronting them. So if your mother-in-law, your father-in-law is having issues, you don't understand certain things, go to the bedroom with your partner, talk to him, to talk to the people, to manage things for you, to negotiate or mediate between the you two. But you can't just confront them. For our culture, it's not done. In most places too, it's not done.
Well, the topic is becoming more interesting, and I guess you're taking some notes there. As I said, we are learning and unlearning and learning at the same time. Please send in your contributions and questions to 0559 680066, 0559 680066. Those of you joining us on Facebook and YouTube, we are very grateful. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our discussion on love without borders. Thank you.
Hello guys, I welcome you all to Gospel 101 TV show. My name is Selassie Evelyn, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this uplifting journey into the heart of gospel music and inspiration. What you made ye yet de ekuko down. Get ready for a television show that will challenge, uplift, and remind you of the incredible power of God. The show will say, yet the life-changing stories.
We are not going to marry when we go to heaven. It is very true. But if we are not careful, our bonnet heaven will cry.
Good music videos. So tell a friend to tell another friend, say, Gospel 101 Jumedieno has come. It is not just a show, it is going to be an experience.
Gospel 101, showing this and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Hope TV.
Hope Channel is my favorite Christian channel. The best thing about this is that you can have it everywhere you go. All you need to do is to download the Hope Channel app on your Play Store or Apple Store and get all the programs you want to watch.
Hello, you are welcome, and thank you so much for not leaving the dial. You are still watching Love at Home on Hope Channel Ghana, and we are discussing love without borders. We've looked at issues concerning interracial marriages, intercultural, interfaith, and so many others. We are still continuing that discussion. And let me start with you, Mr. Ando. We want to know how practical, how can we build this support for ourselves when we decide to go through either interfaith or the intercultural or the interracial or whatever?
Good. It's great to associate with couples who are in similar circumstances. So if it's an interracial marriage, it's good to get along with interracial couples that you can bond with. You have a lot to share in common with them. There could be an emotional go-to place where they could explain the challenges that you have, and you feel accepted when you go there because everybody is in an interracial marriage or relationship there. Being Christians, especially talking about intercultural marriages, the church is the best place. I have a lady in my church who says that we only have, as Christians, we have one culture.
Okay.
And it's the culture of the Bible.
Of the Bible.
Okay? It's the culture of the Bible. And so I think the best place where we should see intercultural marriages thrive is in the church. Because at church, we all have the same culture. And that is led by the Bible. And you want to encourage everybody. If you want to follow the writings of Paul, he doesn't see difference between who comes from west or east, or once we are all in Christ, we are all the same, and you should see everybody born. And so, yes, it's good to see multicultural, interracial communities, if you are in that kind of marriage, to associate with them, to attend their social programs, to have families from there. And if you are a Christian, please get along. Go to church on Sabbath. Go to prayer meetings, because there, all things being equal. I say all things being equal because Counselor Perfect said something from the beginning. We are not perfect. Okay? God created this world, and sin came
Imperfect
and
people.
made it
Yes.
imperfect. So we are imperfect. But all things being equal, the church is the best place to feel accepted, no matter which culture background you come from. Anywhere.
That is true. Yes, Counselor, please add up for me the support that the society and community will bring there.
Yeah. So you need also to be your husband or your wife's greatest support system, because you'll be the first point of call to explain things to them, things that they don't understand, things that are challenging, dealing with their families and the extended families and issues that may pop up. So you should not neglect your partner.
And become part of the problem.
Yes, and become part of the problem. Yeah, I like that.
Yes.
Don't become part of the problem, but rather help them to understand, help them to solve it, and help to negotiate and mediate when there's an issue. Because if there's a funeral, if there's naming ceremony, if there's marriage, and your husband doesn't understand things, you need not to leave him and his people alone to go and face your father and the rest. You rather should go to talk to them, because you are one of them, so you are part of them, so they will understand you more and will tone things down than your husband going. So you must always learn to work through the other partner to get to them, and compromise is key. Take time to explain things to your partner. Get emotions aside, and as I said, if you have anger issues, you are the type that you always want to have your own stereotype, this type will not work for you. You should have a big heart, open-minded person, and learn to embrace everybody, because in Christ there's no east, west, we are all one.
Yes, thank you. Now let's look at what are some of the triumphs and joys of being an interracial or interfaith or international relationship. Are there some joys?
Well, there are joys. There are joys being married to somebody from another race. I met a white man who was telling me that he thinks the most beautiful people are crossbreeds between races.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's
The
a white
mixture.
man, a pure white, yes.
Okay.
He said he likes children who are across races because they look beautiful. He likes them. It sometimes also brings opportunities along. I mean, if you are married to, if you are in, say, living in the West and you are married to a Westerner, you get the privileges and all the opportunities that are there, and you get to cover some of your weaknesses. And if it is somebody that you really love and the person loves you, you are on cloud 9. Okay? and life is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, talking about inter-tribe, intercultural, you see, there are two things that has helped keep the Ghanaian society together.
Yeah.
One is the boarding school system that Kwame Nkrumah started,
Yeah.
and the second is the intertribal marriages.
Yeah.
So, Counselor Perfect's children, if you ask them whether they are Evers or Asante, they are everything.
They are Ghanaians.
Yes, they are Ghanaians. Okay, so we don't have this person saying this is an Ever, this is an Asante, this. No, my father is an Asante, my mother is an Ever. So who am I? I'm a Ghanaian. You know, you don't have that kind of thing that we and them. It sort of minimizes this risk of we and them, and we come together and we present ourselves. And on my Old Boys platform, it is like a brotherhood.
That's nice.
Okay, we come from all over the country. We cover each other. They do their politics there. They do. But if something happens to somebody, they are all there.
That is it.
They will all show up.
That's the
They
spirit.
will all support, and that is the thing. You see, so there are joys in there. There are joys and there are triumphs to celebrate.
Well, share with me, are there?
it widens or broadens your family.
Okay.
So you don't have just one tribe, you don't just have one race. There's an event and realize that all these people are part of my family tree. So people look at you, what at all are you? You are a bit from here, you are from here, you are from there. And it's kind of the languages that, you see, it influences you. What they eat, their culture, and the rest. It makes you an open-minded person.
Okay.
Because you are not myopic, you are not stereotyped. You get to accept people as they are, because you know that you don't belong to one.
Yes.
So everybody is like a sister to you.
Yeah.
Everybody is like a brother to you. You go everywhere, you are free. You are not limited in your thinking. And finance-wise, it helps. Because if I'm married to this person, my children are married to them, it's easy for you to do business with them. It's easy for you to get employment, whatever that comes.
Network and
Network, association, and my side too, you get the same thing. So now the world is moving from just me and my family, me and my village people, to the global world.
Yes.
So you need not to limit yourself. If you love somebody and the person loves you back, they are so good to you, why not open up your heart to accept them? And it's joy to know that you are learning their language. There's something new. You eat their food, they also eat their food. It's the joy. They learn your language, they get it wrong. You laugh at them, it becomes a joke. My husband can't mention certain words. So whenever you mention it, everybody like, oh, daddy. So don't start laughing at him.
Yes.
So it becomes fun.
Yes.
You go out and he tells me, people think he's an ever more than me. So okay, because you are fair and tall.
Yeah.
You understand. So it's kind of, it brings that happiness. The children see all of us and they realize that the God that we serve is love. It doesn't discriminate. We are all one. God loves each of us.
I like the way you have enumerated the joys and then the triumphs. Let's look at the challenges. Are there some challenges?
There are challenges.
Yeah. Okay, share some with us.
Let's start with the interracial ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are the societal expectations that can be stressful. The way people stare at you, okay? The comments that people make sometimes right to your face. Sometimes you face stiff opposition from the family that you are married from.
to,
and that is a big challenge. So there are stresses. Sometimes there's discrimination, right? My wife and I were watching a YouTube video, and there's an American woman and her husband, Ghanaian husband, who have come back to start a big agro business. And why they came back is that this is a woman speaking, the white woman. She said they were in the U.S. and she told the husband that, look, here nobody respects you. Even if you get up there, they won't give you the position because you are black.
You are black.
Let's go back to your country with the money we have and let's go and set up a business. So they came back and set up an agro business. They have a big agro business.
They are making it.
Yes. And I felt so good hearing this white woman.
A white woman suggested that to the black
telling
man.
this, and I felt good. So yes, there are real challenges. But like I said, if you educate yourself, if you get to know what to expect, and you brace up yourself for it, you're done.
Challenges.
Yeah, so the cultural barriers, traditional demands that sometimes we are not so comfortable doing because that is not your orientation. Sometimes getting your family to understand that you love the person, so help me to do this to make him happy and to make their family happy. They'll rather think, just leave them alone. Why do you have to worry? They don't understand why you are so much invested in what you are doing. Why do you have to waste time? The person is dead. Why do you have to waste time and want to bust all of us, come and do all these things? Allow them, for them, this is how they are. But you love them, so that challenge.
Yes.
Your parents or your family, you're sometimes not understanding you that this is it. They think you are choosing your partner
over them.
Sometimes there's a distance. And you need you don't know whether to go to A or to go to B. So it takes the intervention of God, and sometimes family, will let, sometimes they will let bygones become, with time they'll forget, but still it's there. They know that this person, when it becomes critical, she'll be running towards them. You understand? And sometimes to the language barrier, and you be speaking, they don't understand that much, and some utterances some of the people will be making, you feel like they don't love me that much, they don't accept me that much. But you need to focus on your husband. If you don't take care, those around will destroy the marriage.
That is true.
But you need to focus on the person who loves you and is making also that sacrifice on his side to be with you.
And if there's an interracial marriage and there are children, there's the risk of identity crisis. And so you need to be very intentional with the children.
And manage it well.
Manage it.
Okay, identity crisis. All right, that is key. Now, Elder, your last advice and your final comments. After listening to you, what should we take away today?
If you are in an intercultural marriage, you are fine. You are just fine. Open up, learn, accept your husband, know what is ahead of you, brace up for it, and you are fine. If you are in an interracial marriage, do same, learn, get some support group, know what to expect, and get along. There are a few things. Learn, of course. Learn and know the things you need to know and get ready for them. Be there for your partner. Know that you are the last stop for your partner. If everybody else says everything, you are the only one who should be there. She or she should be able to count on you. And lastly, let God guide. Let God guide. Once you have God in your camp, you will succeed.
Thank you. Counselor Perfect, your last advice and what should be a takeaway?
We don't have control over who we'll fall in love with. Mostly we don't. You just realize that this person is not right for you, but you fall in love with them. But you must guide the person you get married to. You can fall in love with anybody, but the person you decide to marry, you should be very critical about it, because marriage can make you and unmake you. If we are going into an interracial, intercultural, intertribal, interfaith marriage, and realize that the issues around it are too much, you can't handle it, it's best you walk away. Because in marriage, love is not enough. There are other things that are far more important than that feeling that you are nestling, because the children are there, generations to come, you're going to heaven, your faith, and a lot of others. So be concerned. Do the due diligence before you rush into such marriages. But in all, let love lead and let God lead you. Pinel Adventist Church, Adenta Estate, this 15th, that is next Sabbath, they are doing Love Festival. So all the youth watching me, you are yet to marry, you are single, you want to mingle, come and mingle and get an Adventist gentleman and then Adventist lady to hook up, to marry.
You see, you're saying this on Love at Home. I would have charged you, but it's okay. Yes, so to my lovely viewer, we are so thankful and grateful that you joined us in this discussion as we looked at love without borders. There are some key takeaways, and for me, I've noted we need to compromise, learn to compromise, we need to trust, we need to support, and above all, let God direct our path. And if we have all these, we will be able to sail through. Being it interracial, intercultural, interfaith, whatever. Let God direct our path. Same time next week, you come into your homes again with another interesting topic on Love at Home. I am Efia Sewa, and good night. Bye-bye.
Hope Channel, changing lives.